Hello, my name is Assel, and this is a Women and Data Science London podcast. Today, we are welcoming a researcher in machine learning and a data scientist at the Quantitative Risk Solutions Lab, Anna Zaremba. Hi, Zaremba.
Hi, Assel. Hi, everyone who's watching or listening.
Zaremba is a mathematician coming from a family of mathematicians. They were born in Poland, moved to UK to study for master's degree, worked for a few years in financial industry, and then decided to go back to academia to do a PhD. They're currently a researcher in academia and will soon start working as a data scientist engineer in a startup. So yes, this is very much data scientist path, and this podcast is aimed at the young people who are looking into career in data science, and we want to talk about different kind of jobs and different kind of people that enter this path. So I wonder, Zaremba, if you had any preconceptions about yourself at workplace or at university.
I've met with a lot of preconceptions from other people. The first thing is that when I tell people that I'm a mathematician, they very often, like the first thing that they blurt is that you must be very good with numbers, and I'm not. I'm very bad with numbers. I make lots of mistakes when I calculate things, but I'm very good with shapes, with geometrical, topological, spatial imagination. So that's one preconception that I very often meet. But there's a couple of a few other preconceptions.
I have a picture of you here. And
yes, these are my dance-related pictures.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that this theatrical person on the picture is a data scientist. Is this your hobby, or are you doing it professionally?
Well, so this is my hobby, but I've been learning to belly dance for many years, and I've been performing internationally. So hopefully I'm on reasonable level.
Yeah, and here is a spot on your head on the picture.
Yes, so on the left side you see the theatrical belly dance fusion. Mm-hmm. On the right side here, I've been practicing for the performance for a pot dance. The thing that I have on my head is a pot that I've made myself. Mm-hmm. This is for a dance group called Balana, which is the oldest continuously running belly dance group.
Wow.
And I have the paintings that I have on my face. These are supposed to resemble traditional Berber facial tattoos.
This is quite a feminine hobby, but I have another picture of you. It's a little bit more combative.
Yes, although mind you, I just want to make sure that everybody knows you don't have to be a woman to belly dance. I'm not a woman, I'm a non-binary person. There are plenty of men who are doing belly dance. So this is mostly gendered because of assumptions and again preconceptions that people have, but it doesn't have to be. Here, this is a picture from my MMA grading. I've graded to brown belt. MMA is mixed martial arts. So basically, on computer science department, people will be absolutely shocked to hear that I do belly dance or that I do martial arts. In the belly dance circles, people would be absolutely shocked when I was telling them that I was doing PhD in computer science. And both of those groups were absolutely shocked that I also love to fight and that I'm doing MMA.
That's
so there's plenty of preconceptions.
I have met lots of mathematicians, and it's yeah, I'm surprised. So yes, I shouldn't.
But we also have lots of preconceptions then.
Yes, exactly. Let's continue and start talking from the very beginning of your path, and how did you start? What were you aspiring to be when you were growing up? What was your favorite subject at school?
When I was small, I wanted to become a vet, but then I learned that hugging animals is not the main thing that vets do. So I changed my mind. I always loved biology, but I also have an older sister, and she was always older, bigger, wiser. So when she decided to study biology, I decided that I'm going to keep clear of that. I didn't want to follow my sister.
But your parents were mathematicians. Did that?
Yes, and
you're pushed towards that.
Well, and because my parents were mathematicians, I hated mathematics for quite a while.
Yeah. Okay.
But after some time, I realized that I'm reasonably good in that, and actually, I would miss it. I would just miss it if I didn't do any mathematics. But very often, when people are taught mathematics, they do not see all of those wonderful concepts. They just see numbers, calculations, and they very rarely get to know any of the interesting topological concepts. Geometry. This is my favorite favorite part.
Wow. Yes, I can see it's a topology on your hand.
Yeah. So this is Klein-Bottle, or more precisely, a two-dimensional representation of a four-dimensional concept, and it's locally two-dimensional, by the way. So I think it's pretty awesome. Here, this is one of the ways how you can obtain Klein-Bottle, but I will not go into talking about the story, but just here, I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
Can you see it? Sorry, maybe I'll. This is the shortest way how you can write down what a Klein-Bottle is. Equations for that. Yes, so this is a part of math. It's called topology, which is absolutely not interested in numbers, distances. It's more interested in shapes and relationships between objects.
Just for our listeners, it's a part of math that tells us that donuts and cups with handles are the same topological objects. So finding similar objects topologically. Right. So after you finished, graduated from university, you worked as a data scientist. What was the job that you were doing after you graduated in math?
I worked as a researcher in a hedge fund, in a very wonderful place. So I was not really a data scientist then, and I think actually at the time the job title data science was not that very popular. So I was closer to a quant.
I see. That's the most difficult difficult job in banking, is a quant. And
yeah, so what I was doing was working with models, with model implementations, and yes, with data as well. I was running simulations and testing the different models, and at some stage, I felt that I would like to have an opportunity to investigate and research more. I felt I was not doing enough research.
To do PhD. And what was the topic of your PhD, and how did it evolve? How did it unfold?
So it took me a while to arrive at the main topic of my PhD. I think that's typically the case, that it takes people a while to formalize or to arrive at what is it that they're going to study. The main concepts I'm working with is statistical causality, and I find it fascinating because people use the concept of causality in everyday life, but when you talk about causality in everyday life, the definition of that is very elusive. But you might want to model something in science, for example, do medications work? This has a lot to do with do medication cause the illness to disappear? This is a concept of causality, and a lot of other sciences use that but the problem is making sure that you define your concept in a way that you exactly know what is it that you're able to model or explain. And causality has been of interest to philosophy for very many centuries, and it started to become of interest to science only in 17th, 18th century. And 20th century is when it really started to grow as a concept and as a tool. So my PhD has been mostly concentrating on developing new and better tools to test and model that concept. And I was also proposing different ways how it can be applied.
Yes, and now you equipped with more methodologies and understanding how algorithms work. And so the job you're moving into is called data engineer.
Data science engineer.
Data
Yes.
science engineer. What do data science engineers do?
I think it still differs between many companies, many places. But basically, I will be working with data. I will be providing algorithms that will be taking the data and translating them to better actions or explaining what's in the data. So that I will be using a lot of machine learning and statistics and a lot of algorithms.
Let's also talk a bit in this little short time of it that we have about changes in the world of work. And what did you notice in your career? How is it changing nowadays?
Yes, so this is something I'm quite passionate about. When I was working in a hedge fund, I felt a need to present in a very specific way to be able to look professional. So I would have full face of makeup, and I would dress in a way that I thought was professional. When I started to do PhD, I realized that, or at university, people do not have those strict expectations as to how they dress. And as a genderqueer person, that was so important to me. I'm trans non-binary. There's a fact. And at uni, I started my transition. So I look very, very different than I used to. But what I'm incredibly happy about is that I feel this is way more accepted now. That when employers want to have creative minds, they basically need to provide comfortable spaces for a very diverse group of people to make sure that they can create in peace.
Yes, so it is established that technology should reflect the people who are using it, and we have to have technologists who are exactly reflect different kind of demographics, different abilities, different state of minds. To create technology that would be servicing everyone. And I think you have a couple of examples.
Yes, my favorite example is with a hand dryer. There was a hand dryer which was not able to detect and dry very dark-skinned hands, and this is absolutely ridiculous. The hand dryer was not able to do the one thing it was designed for, which is dry hands, because it could not detect them if they had very dark skin. Yeah. And that is just such a clear case of lack of diversity at the stages when that was being designed, that was being built, and that was tested. So I think that's one of the most clear examples of why companies need diverse people. They need people who think differently, who will have different experiences. and also who feel like they can be creative, they can be themselves. And I think we are observing some of those changes now.
Yes. I wish we could have more time to talk about all the interesting stuff in your research, in your career, and in your hobbies. But yes, thank you, Zaremba, very much.
Thank you, Assel.
Yeah, I wish you all the good luck in your new job. And yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.